Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. If you just joined us, this is TMI. And right now I want to take a look at printing of currencies impact on nation's economy. A governor cried out that the allocation for the month of March was funded by the government printing 60 billion naira. I mean, going to the CBN to print such an amount of money, and that has been causing so much reaction. Some are saying it's an allegation, others are saying no, they've been confirmed. But go and think about it. Is this the right thing to do? What impact is it going to be having on you and I? With me here in the studio to talk about this, I have seasoned analysts. I'd like to start my introduction from my far left. Join to welcome Odigwe Wadai, here a member of the NIM, the Nigeria Initiative. Welcome to TMI on this edition. Appreciate your comment, sir.
Good morning.
Where are you? You are here, you're not here. What is happening? Please be here.
Yeah, good morning, the audience. And,
right.
Well, yeah.
You get to put food on the table and you won't see or hear all these things happening. I call him the voice of the masses. Join to welcome Comrade Osanho Okoro Obaraye. Welcome to TMI.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your coming.
God bless you.
Right.
Good morning to yourself.
I call this guy a philosopher. You know, he likes adding logic and philosophy to everything that is talking. That he's a legal practitioner, a human rights activist. Join me to welcome Barrister Thank God Iluebe. Barrister, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Wilson.
All right.
Good morning, viewers.
It all started when a governor said, look, if you want us to survive as a country, please, the information gathered is that you guys printed 60 billion naira to fund allocation for the month of March. And that in sent tongues wagging. Yeah. Some in disbelief, some in total dismay, some angry, why some just felt indifferent about it. I want to start off from you, Honorable Odigwe. What do you feel about this?
Oh, well, when we heard it at the beginning, we were shocked, quite taken aback. A situation where the government now resort to printing of money to pay salaries. It is an indication that the country is already a failed state. Let me take you back to the 70s, during the time of Idi Amin, who also instructed the CBN governor of Uganda to print money. The governor refused, or the governor of the Central Bank of Uganda refused. Right there, he terminated his appointment and appointed another person. What happened to the economy? It went down the drain. It also happened in Germany in the 1920s, in Sudan, and other countries. You don't print money. The consequence of printing money to pay salaries, it will create a hyperinflation. What they are doing is that they have excess money. By printing money, that's the money supply will be higher than the demand. And the goods and services remains the same. And at the end of the day, what do you have? A hyperinflation. So, when Governor Obaseki came up to tell Nigerians that this is what the federal government did, the Minister of Finance denied. Why are they always, why would they lie? Do they know the consequence of this action? And what will it will have on our economy? But the answer is not far-fetched, because the caliber of persons we have at the helm of affairs, they are not competent. They are not well-rounded in economics. A situation where we have a high school graduate, not even a high school graduate, a primary school certificate holder, as the president of the country, when you have millions or thousands of educated, skilled workers, what do you expect?
All right. I will come back to you on that. If you say that they're not competent, people will really take, a different opinion from yours, because according to them, they are competent. That is the reason why they are there. And of course, the president also is qualified according to the rules of the land to, vie for the position. And of course, he got it, so he is there according to the laws of the land. I'll come back to you. Obaraye, printing of 60 billion, some are saying it's allegation, others are saying it's true, while some are feeling so indifferent about it. After all, this is not the first time, according to some persons, this thing has been done. What's your take on it?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think nothing baffles me again in the country called Nigeria. Yeah, when I heard it, I was not scared. It was just like everyday news. Printing of money, I think that is one of the news we're supposed to hear. What we're expected to hear in Nigeria, that Nigeria has defeated Boko Haram or Nigeria is not better. No. So you expect more devastating stories. The truth is that when you have a country that is already moving towards the place of no return, things like this is what moves with them. A country where they don't know that this is supposed to be done before that, only that before this. This is what you see. A country that forgot its natural resources, that there's nothing when you are looking for in Nigeria, you can't get. So I'm not perturbed. It's just like if I come to ITV this morning and there was no light, I think I'll be scared. So for me to come and everything that ITV is working, I'm not shocked. So telling me that Governor Obaseki told us they are printing money, that is one of the few of the numerous issues happening in the country called Nigeria. Don't also a country where the person leading you will tell you, I'm going to London for checkup, and in a jiffy year is in Dubai for treatment. So what were you expecting? So to me, I think our topic would have been Nigeria didn't print money. I get it now. So that thing.
I don't get that.
No, so to defend, to tell you they printed. Now you are asking us, Obaye, would you like to eat buffet? So what has happened now for the president just now is that the governor has told us one of their films, what we are supposed to hear. That should not be the first time they printed. Just watch. That was why the map quoted the month and the purpose of the money. So it also goes to show the Matamas are printed in December. I get it that it's also possible. Nobody will tell you. This is a country where all informations are taken as a if you speak, we'll knock you down. So when your country starts hiding vital information from you, it goes to show there are so many things happening there. A country that told you that there is nothing like Chibok, but the next thing you see them paying money to those that captured. So a country that the plane, Air Force jet, was brought down, the video was there, the flag of Nigeria was there. Boko Haram people mounting and also dehumanizing a dead pilot. And the next day, the person in charge is telling you that our plane is not missing, we are searching. You see this one. A country that told you that we know the people that went to Imo jailbreak issue. And nothing is being done. So a country where a very high-figured Nigerian was dancing in his hotel room few hours before he was to go to EFCC for a case. And immediately when he got there, he covered all his neck and started behaving that he was to die in the next few seconds. He left there again not knowing that he was being monitored, and he went back to start praying Allah Macaboy in his hotel room, hale and hearty. So what do you want us to not tell you, right, Mr. Wilson? So to me, Nigeria will still keep printing.
Okay.
I get it now because They've lost direction. They don't even know that if Nigerians decide to say that we will not import food again, let's face corn, let's face plantain. I've told you on several occasions, my uncle, my mother's younger brother, Honorable Edali Belazaka, in Ogada, can feed 50 people continuously without looking back. A farmer in Ogada.
Okay.
Are you getting that? If an individual that has ventured, a farmer that has ventured into different agro, plantain, yam, cause everything that you have it, can feed. What if government now decide to say, okay, let's use what it takes to go into this farming?
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Barry.
So there was nothing to expect, my brother.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Well, you heard him. He said he's not surprised. Had it been that it was the opposite, he would have been surprised. What do you feel about it, Barrister?
For me, I think he has spoken a lot and he spoke rightly. The country, as it were today, has snowballed into a very negative path. Actions and inactions of all of us as Nigerians. If you go back to the holy books of the Bible, it says, when the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? And that's a very big question, because we have to now look at it from the point of where is Nigeria today, where were we before, and where we are going by our own actions. So far, so good. From what we can experience, from what we can feel and see, it's a reflection of our past deeds and actions. We've come to the realization that as long as we have refused to do the right things, we'll get the wrong results. And as long as we keep trying to deceive ourselves, we'll continue to get the expected result of our actions. Printing of money in a nation, ab initio, is a legal right of the central bank of the country. But when it is done poorly or inappropriately, you certainly get the results, which are also negative. How did we get here in the first place? And what are leaders doing to see that we get out of this place? I must appreciate the state governor for blowing the whistle, as it were, and drawing our attention, and also calling to attention those in the federal system of government to the fact that, look, this is not a smart economic decision, and if you must do it, you have to look for the alternative ways to cushion the effect, to prevent the negative impact of such a decision. I think that is what he was trying to do, and it is not out of place for him to have done that. And it's also not out of place for the Minister of Finance or the CBN governor, who thought at this point in time this was the relevant thing to do for the nation, to have done it. Because I think in their wisdom they think it is the best thing now. But how did we get here, and what can we do to get out of this point? So that subsequently it does not occur. Subsequently it does not become a problem to us. And I think that is the big issue the governor wanted us to look at as a nation and address. Otherwise, there's no need mentioning it in the first place. It's not news to him. But he is trying to say, be warned, be on the caution side, because where we are going is dangerous. We have made too many mistakes, and adding this is also going to increase our problem. And I think that's what the governor wanted us to take into caution. But for me, as a Nigerian, I keep saying, we have missed a whole lot of things. How can the righteous now do it? The foundations, are they not destroyed? If the foundations are destroyed, how are you building on top of a bad foundation? Okay. What are you going to do to see that you start afresh if need be, instead of trying to patch something that is already destroyed? I think that's my position.
Okay. Well, a very strong term was used, economic rascality. We got to hear that term in one of the comments of a governor that was so aggrieved about what is really going on. But for what he said, printing of money is not an issue because nations do print money. I mean, majorly with economic rascality and printing of money, and with the times that we're in now, do you think is the right thing to do?
No, I don't think it's the right thing to do. There are better ways or other alternative of having money in the economy. One, the federal government could have issued, treasury bills. By doing so, they'll be borrowing money from the private sector or the general public. What they really need to do was just to print, treasury bills. By doing that, they will not bring in more money into the circulation. So, but they opted the easiest way, go and print. Failing to realize that for the reason to print money to pay salary is different from to print money to execute, capital project. Recurrent expenditure is not something that you get back. You understand? I quite commend the effort of the governor. It was more of a strong political will for him to come out. The same thing happened during the time of Yaradua, when the late Akuyele, when they told us that Yaradua was alive. It took her courage to come out and say, look, the man is dead. So this is the same thing that happened. The man is an economist. He's an investor. And he's part of that national, economic...
committee.
Committee. So he knew what is going on. I said, look, you can no longer continue in this manner. Enough is enough. They could have done XYZ. They have borrowed money from China. Nigeria is borrowing money on daily basis. We even borrowed money from China to build a railway and oil refinery in the Republic of Niger. So do we have the collateral? Probably we don't have any more. Probably China is now saying, look, we can no longer borrow you money because you don't have the mix of paying back your loan. So by so doing, they now resorted to printing money. And the consequence of that is hyperinflation. I won't be surprised tomorrow. You go out, a crate of egg now is 1,800. Less than 6 months ago, it was about 600. And probably by tomorrow, it will be 10,000. So we are digging more holes for ourselves.
Okay.
So we need to approach this thing. Unfortunately, you see, the problem we have is that the people there are not competent enough. We need to look at the reason, the cause, not necessarily because they printed money. Who are there manning the government? Do they have a foresight? What is their vision? What are they there for? A man that came to power and said, well, all he needed was just that power. Give me power. And they gave him the power. What did he do? He went to his bedroom in Aso Rock. Moved all his family to Aso Rock. He lives from his bedroom to the living room. He just came back from the medical voyage and they asked him, what are you going to do next? He said, I'm in continuity. That is our president. Continuity of what?
All right, thank you.
That's what he could say.
Thank you.
And you are telling me thank you.
Thank you. You just hold on now, because this will tell you what your emotions. Calm down. You're making a wonderful point until your emotions begin to get the best part of you. Calm down. We have a president. He's still a president. According to him, he's doing his best. But to you, say they are not competent enough. Let's see if they're going to bring in more competent hands. All right? Let's not go personal. Some are saying that this cry is a political cry. What do you feel about that? 60 billion are being printed from a government that's all embedded in politics.
When it comes to issues like this, don't always bring politics to it. Even when you hear it, pretend not to, because some of us are already, when we speak, people listen. Issues when you know that it's killing, we don't need to bring politics about it, because nobody is denying the fact. It happened. If I leave here and I'll tell you that, do you know Wisdom Amasa was not wearing the cap you saw him wearing. Anybody will start believing because they saw me and you. So if a governor tells you this is what happened, leave politics out of it. Did that thing happen? Yes. A country that is already going to borrow money, print money after doing all sorts of borrowing. But to tell you that, what are you still thinking in this country? We should be fat out ourselves. Let's forget about NBC. Even those that control the NBC, are they really happy with this country? Are their children here? Are they? When somebody tells you the way Nigeria is, may your life be like that, will anybody be happy? you will say, God forbid, that will be your next statement. But if a friend of mine, don't want traveled to UK a few days ago, and we were joking on Messenger, and I just told him, my brother, I'm expecting you back, and he said, God forbid. I said, what? He said, yes. Should I say that guy is not, it's normal? Because I know that about a week or two ago, to even put food down on the table was problem. So now, first of all, he has gotten a comfortable place where he doesn't need to go around to buy just 700 naira fuel to get himself for few hours to charge phone. It's in a place where he's no longer scared that if I leave now, will I sleep well at night? He's now in a place where government knows that somebody is here, this person needs to eat, this person needs health care. Our government does not know if Wisdom Masha is here, neither Swakobai. They don't know because they don't have the formation, the data. No, they don't know it. The last time we experienced census was seen when my late grandfather was alive, and we are celebrating about 20 years of his demise. I get it now. So Nigeria is not even aware that Papa Sapido or their late grandfather is late. They are not even aware that Wisdom Masha has given birth to a child. They are not aware of all these things, and you are telling me that this is a country where a man should put all his effort in. Why would the crime rate reduce? When you know that nobody is planning for you, everything is for yourself. You might just become. There was a day you invited me for a radio program. I didn't use mobility. I came from first to this place 250 naira. I was going back, the man told me 300. And I asked him why. He said, you don't buy fuel. You don't just say fuel now, you don't add joiner. So you can see, I left home maybe with 500. Let me do this thing. Now the man is already complaining about an issue. A government that does not even know that if you are not paying me salary, you are owing me maybe even 8 or 6 months as the case may be. Then you wake up in the morning to tell me fuel I bought yesterday. For myself, for generator, you've increased it without even putting me into consideration. So why would I be striking and thinking about you?
All right.
Why would the military not tell you they're going back to the pitch? Why would people not just start taking decisions? Because you also take decisions without putting these people into consideration.
Okay, I'll come back to you.
So when they also tell you that they are ready to do anything, you should also think of it that when you were doing, did you put them into consideration? Okay,
Obaraye, calm down. I'll come back to you. For what Obaraye said, he said this is not political. That this is the fact that we are seeing before us. Ilobe, do you think there is an iota of politics in all this? Because that is what the governor is accused of, that is beginning to politicize everything.
For me, I think that politics is not the issue. Although we are all political animals, but as far as this issue is concerned, I think the governor is just only giving a caution or a warning sign to those who are in charge of the monetary policy as such today, trying to ensure that as much as they can, they should consider the negative effect of their decisions. Be that as it may, when we want to politicize everything, we lose that at the end of the day, because if you take the history of this country, you will discover that politics, which ought to be of an advantage to us, proving up smart leaders to leaders has been used in the negative. When we talk about politics and him politicizing it, is it of the negative sense or of the positive sense, for instance? So politics itself is not a bad thing. But if you play politics for the advantage of the state and for the advantage of the citizenry, I think it's what it's onions. But unfortunately, when we mention politics, it appears as if somebody has a negative intention. The facts are clear. Did you print? And if you printed, what was your reason? I want to also say, those who have taken this decision thought they have done the best thing. And that is why I keep saying that if you go back to the scriptures or to the holy books, he said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Now, the governor giving a warning sign is also part of the economic team. He is also a very responsible officer as far as this country is concerned. He has a lot work to do in his second term as it refers to this state. He is doing his best, but we are also watching him dance. He himself also has a responsibility to dance well. People have danced before him, people will dance after him. He also has to put his own feet on ground properly so that when he leaves office, we can be able to say, oh, when Governor Obaseki was there, he did X, Y, Z. Not like in the average, because we keep having a problem when we have governors, leaders in our system trying to tell us, oh, they did average, they did near average, and at the end of the day, we are where we are. So for the responsible leaders or the leaders of this country, those who have been given constitutional authority to lead this country, they owe it a duty to lead well in their capacity. But unfortunately, like I said, sometimes you take a decision, you think you have made the best decision, not knowing that you may have had some other better decisions. So that is what leadership is all about. We all lead at different aspects of our lives. Sometimes you are not patient enough to take the best decision. You just take an option you think will be the best, only for you to realize you made a mistake. But there's nothing you can do other to think of a way to address that problem. For instance, if now the Minister of Finance and the CBN governor have realized from the caution the governor is saying, what we did now was not the best decision. They may even call him privately and say, what would you have suggested would have been the best option? Those ones will not be in private talks. They may even have pleaded with him, oh, you would have not made it public. If you had called us to caution us quietly, we would have preferred it. So there are different options. But I think leaders get into a position with the intention to lead well. But I think the greatest problem we have, dishonesty and corruption, has beclouded our genuine intentions. And so much, most of the time, we see ourselves making unnecessary errors. I don't want to blame those who are taking those decisions, because when you are saddled with the responsibility of leadership, you will now know that it is not meat and drink. It is a very tough work, and we are doing it in our different capacity, and we are seeing that, oh, sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you need to improve on your mistake, but you can't be a good leader if you do not prepare, you do not study well, you do not consult properly, you didn't spread your tentacles wide enough. And these are the shortcomings some of us are facing as leaders in our different capacities.
All right.
If I may add flavor to what he just said, as a leader, that is why you have advisors. Your advisors are supposed to be experts on that field.
All right, now you just want to go for a break. When we return, you're going to give more voice to that fourth chain of yours. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about printing of currencies, implication on the economy. And I have seasoned analysts here with me in the studio sharing their thoughts and, of course, their opinion on this particular topic. Well, we're making a point before we went on that break. As you want to give expression to those point of views, I want you to add this to it. Some of the opinion that the Minister of Finance, even the CBN, should resign because of this art. What do you feel about that?
Well, normally in a better climate, one should have expected the Minister of Finance to tender her resignation immediately. One, for lying, and two, for making a grievous mistake. And her intention could topple the government. So,
hold on, what intention to topple which government?
yeah, for printing and printing money. And that could have, that could have affected the economy. You know what you used to have hyperinflation. In the 20s, there was a time the German inflation rate was 231 million %. So a situation like that could have happened in Nigeria. We don't really know when they started printing this money. We don't even know if they have more intention of printing more money tomorrow. So being an expert, that's the governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki, is a part of the government, and he gave them an expert advice. And for people to say, oh, the minister and the CBN ought to have known better, that is why they have advisors. But a situation like in Nigeria, most of the times they don't have expert advisors. I have seen a situation where you put a mechanic as your economic advisor. So these are the problems we create for ourselves. So for them to also say that Godwin Obaseki is trying to politicize this issue, I don't think so. The man spoke truth to power. He knew the consequence of their rascality, and that is why he spoke up. You cannot run a government in a rather, in a covert manner. So governors are supposed to be made known to the people so that people can make their input. When Akinwumi did same, she was a member of PDP. She was a member of that government. Did we say, she politicized it? No. She told the whole world the truth. So that is what our governor said. Look, what you are doing is wrong. It will have negative impact on our economy. It is high time we stop this idea of printing money. And, come to think of it, there are a lot of things wrong with this country. Right from the beginning to the end. Now, politics or the political space is being dominated by the Northerners. People that are not even competent enough to hold such positions. Now, if you are also aware that in this country, the economy is being controlled again by the same Northerners, where Dangote signed an agreement with the federal government that no other person, corporation or individual, will be allowed to establish a sugar refinery in a country. What kind of a country is that? Well, why would the federal government sign such an agreement with it?
Do you have proof of that?
Do I have proof of it?
Were you there when they signed the agreement?
Oh, okay. Was I there? Okay, now let me tell you. Okay, hold on.
Because right now you are going personal.
No, hold on. Okay. No. Please. Before Anthony Enahoro, the young Anthony Enahoro, at the age of 19, moved the motion for Nigeria to, for independence. Is it true or false?
All right.
True or false? Please, can you answer that question? Is it true or false, please? Can you, you are educated. Is it true or false? Can you answer that question?
I am the anchor. I'm the one asking.
I understand. Did he move that motion?
Let's leave it at that.
Please, did he move that motion?
Let's leave it at that.
He did. My friend, did he move that motion?
I know when you're diving.
Did he move that motion?
Let's leave it at that.
Were you there? Were you there? Were you there? My brother, I wasn't there.
All right.
They signed an agreement, they just went to court. It's only in Nigeria where such a thing will happen. And we say we want to develop. You see, we are not aware of the consequence of their action. Now they are controlling politics, the political space. They are taking over the economy. Bua and Dangote. At the end of the day, where do we stand?
Okay, will you hold on that, because right now you're going personal about the economy. We're going to have a topic for that. I'm going to invite experts to really dive into that. I wouldn't want us to go personal. I have my reasons. Okay, we're not the one the agreement was signed. Let's leave it at that. Okay.
You will never be there.
So, coming for the resignation of the CBN governor and of course Minister of Finance, is it going to change anything?
No, there are some questions or some things you ask that is also making me shock. Everything's done. So your question is shocking me, telling me about resignation in Nigeria. My son Osaini will not believe that. Nobody resigns here. What they do here is the only thing that take them off power is death. They don't believe in resignation. So your question was supposed to be asking the same line. I'm sure you saw a picture now that is already having over 100 million look or touch, where the president of a country knelt down for a child as a mark of honor for what the country did to that child's father. I'm sure you are aware. You don't need to tell me you are not there when the man knelt down. The picture is there. If that picture is there, my brother, how will you feel if you see that picture? I'm sure generations yet unborn will want to look at that picture. And that child, whatever would have been the sadness in his heart to have seen the president of one of the greatest countries in the world kneeling down as a mark of honor for him. We boosted that child's profile. If he asks that again after his MI6 or university with a class to get for a job, they won't ask him. They're trying to point out this is our president kneeling for me when I was just 9 or 8 years old. That would give him a safe landing anywhere. Has the president of this country ever apologized for the killing or maiming, the everyday kidnapping of our children, mostly the guest child in the north? What we hear is we are on top of the situation.
The man is not even
Whereas
aware.
they don't even know the situation. Once you just ask them, they say, we are on top of the situation. They don't even know the situation. They don't know what is happening in the country. That's why they are saying they are on top. We are on top of what you don't know about. So it goes to tell you that, telling me what is it going to change, resignation of CBN, the woman that is already denying, telling you nothing like that happened. It goes to tell you that some people don't even have shame any longer. To me, I'm not here to support neither the government that has said it, or neither the president, or neither the CBN. They are all of the same one power, one person. Everybody is on the same line. Because you that is shouting, monthly you collect billions of naira for security vote. And there's nothing to show for it. So to me, before you want to cast anybody, tell the world that if I was to I'm collecting so and so every month, for Nigeria to be peaceful, for the economy to move, I don't want to go to Abuja. Let the economy of ITV move. I was collecting 500 million a month before, or 300 million before. 50% from now henceforth should be used for the betterment of 20% for this. Let me fix my salary. You can be on and well with your salary if you people have sat down to say 18,000 would be good for an individual. Even when the person is shouting that give us 30,000, you people are saying no, we can't pay. Why yours is times? That's you can times it. It's far-fetched from what you are approving for an individual. So if that man can manage 30 or 18,000 as the case may be, you can also manage 100 or 200. So if we don't have greed, if the people in government don't have greed, Nigeria would have not gone this way we are now. We are in a country where immediately you hear with some has been appointed as special adviser so. You now know that your mom has relation with Boka. Your mom had one person in Ugbogiri. People want to now see that after this one, you should make sure that things are no longer the same. Nobody will tell you, my brother, hope you are aware that you are supposed to write your name in the sense of time. Somebody is just telling you about Dora Akunyili. Somebody is saying that now. She's no longer in the political space. But somebody is telling you what she did when she was supposed to do it. He has said so now. That's to say, our kids yet unborn will ask, who was Dora Akunyili?
All right.
Now you are also telling me, a woman too. That's so I'm sure maybe she does not know Dora Akunyili. If the minister knows Dora Akunyili, I'm sure she would have also said, okay, let me write my name in the sense of time. She is denying that we did not print money.
All right.
She's telling you now. So it goes to show, who are we going to remember? And even if we are going to remember, who will be remembered for good?
All right.
I'm telling you, when the child of Anini spoke, everybody should forget about the father. I'm sorry, but you saw the comment when he was embarrassed.
Okay, thank you, Barry. I know you have so much to say. Our time is up. So for that reason, Barrister Thango, you're going to have the last take on this discussion, the way forward. Allegations being leveled, denial also been presented. Some are so angry, some are indifferent, some are just saying, is the country that we are. What do you think we should do to get out of this mess?
I think most of us know what to do, but the problem is whether we have the will and courage to do what we ought to do. I think our selfishness, greed, and corruptive attitude has brought us this far. And the only way we can unturn the clock that we are actually heading towards is to retrace our steps and start to do the right thing. Like the Bible puts it clearly, it said, if my people can humble themselves and turn from their stupid and foolish ways. Because I think the average Nigerian is not wicked. The average Nigerian appears not to understand what to do and how to go about it. Because in the first place, if you understand the law of seed and harvest, you be careful about what you do. There's nobody is going to run forever. Whatever you have done negatively that has negatively impacted this country, you go to earn it. There's nothing you can do about it. They are divine laws and they start sure. So what I beg of Nigerians is that when you are given a position at any level, you have to look for the best way to solve the problems that are associated with that leadership office. Otherwise, you are just part of the problem we are complaining and we have been talking about.
All right. Thank you so much. I know people have so much to say, but our time is up. Well, you've heard them. Printing of currencies, implication on Nigerian economy. Some level the allegations, others deny the allegations. Some are saying resign, others are saying this is not the first time it's been done. Why now? Like what Thank God said, he said, look, there's always cause and effect. You reap whatever you sow. If we want Nigeria to survive, you and I should do the right thing economically, politically, religiously, agriculturally speaking, in all spheres of our life, educationally speaking, we have to do the right thing. Well, the comments are theirs. It has nothing to do with ITV. Be blessed, be strong, stay out of trouble. Your destiny has always been in your hands. Bye for now.